Hi, welcome everybody, and thank you so much for being a part of this. So, I want to start this off with just a little bit of an illustration. Let me paint a little bit of a picture for you. Imagine you and your friends, like you all are here now, all get together and you pay money to see a group, and you all are already pretty much already expecting to know what you're going to see at this performance. And then after the show, local authorities swarm the stage, and this is why.
What?
Turn it this way. Turn it this way.
The jury consisted of 5 white members and 1 black. So far, by their own admission, their main problem has been stifling fits of laughter. First, it was learned that a police recording of the offending performance had been made on a tiny micro-cassette recorder placed inside a briefcase. Prosecutors attempted to submit a policeman's handwritten transcription of what he thought he heard on that very garbled tape. Judge Jim Johnson turned them down, leaving defense attorneys flushed with potential victory.
Well, they don't have very much of a case right now with the same. They'll have the testimony of the officers that were there. We're trying to get this tape thrown out. Well, not thrown out. We're trying to keep in evidence that was proper. And right now, we don't believe this was kept in a proper.
So, of course, that being said, they were arrested for obscenity. So, of course, we feel like that their freedom of speech was violated. So let's ask ourselves, what is freedom of speech? Freedom of speech is the principle that supports that freedom of an individual or community are able to articulate their opinions and ideas without the fear of retaliation, censorship, or legal sanction. So, the point I'm trying to make is that freedom of speech is, of course, for the people. Any message through art or through vocal projection should be accepted as long as violence isn't incited. You know, in other words, freedom of speech should be free. Free from consequences that may put you at physical risk. Free from to express your message through your art. Free from sometimes to have the message be appropriate and have the masses appreciate the message as quickly as you like it, and also promote individuality. And that we need to accept and maintain our own identities. And in turn, this is how we establish our morals. This is how we establish our identities. This is how we establish our individuality. So, the problem, where do we see this all going? At the end of the day, what we can see this going is creators, like whether it's music producers, whether it's artists, whether it's painters, whether it's podcast hosts, whether it's business owners, they will suppress their art due to fear of not getting the reception that they intended to get. Those who don't agree with the message will just judge and come to their own conclusions before understanding it and branding it at their own accord, which that's okay until it gets violent. Of course, we know exactly type of violence that some freedom of speech can incite. You know, get that son of a bitch out of here, he's fired. I'm pretty sure we all know where that comes from. Or, you know, sometimes you wish you could just punch him right in the face. At some of these rallies. I'm pretty sure we all know where these things come from. So, let's paint the picture of like the origin of where this may come from. Yates versus United States of America. It was a case that was decided by the Supreme Court that held the First Amendment rights that was protected from radical and reactionary speech unless it was posted as a clear and present danger. Long story short, if it's not inciting danger, you shouldn't be ridiculed by it and you shouldn't be sanctioned by it. Or another case by the Supreme Court, which is Neer versus Minnesota, where Neer, who was a reporter, was suppressed, he had his paper suppressed due to an article he printed for reporting that in Minnesota there was an excess amount of gang violence that was not being attended to by the local police. So That is what set the term for prior restraint. Meaning, I see the article, I'm going to take it before everyone knows about it. So I'm going to try to suppress your message by any means possible. So what is the ramifications? By looking at public figures and how they dealt with suppression of their message, some may feel a bit discouraged to even step up to the plate. Some may feel like their voice doesn't matter. If you look at Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. about him viciously being attacked from non-violent protests, hit with rocks, just walking down the street, just to try to promote equality for all. Or Malcolm X was shot and killed in front of a live audience, just trying to acquire equal rights for African Americans by any means necessary, which was not a saint. I understand that. But at the end of the day, no one deserves to be shot for the message that they're trying to present. And by learning through these results through national media, sometimes they may influence you a bit. There's some examples that peaceful speech does pay off. By getting involved with officials that are elected to be your voice in politics that forces us as a driving message of this country every day. As proof of this, Colin Kaepernick, his protests. Colin Kaepernick was an NFL quarterback he played for the 49ers that played a vital role in getting them to their first Super Bowl appearance in over 20 years. Kaepernick used his platform to protest police brutality by kneeling during the national anthem in protest for police brutality. Now, the owners saw fit to essentially ban him from the United States. From the NFL due to what he represented. The results of that is that he recently just settled out of court for an $80 million settlement. Now, a personal remedy for that is technology has given us the opportunity to reach a following that we never even thought existed by allowing us to reach the consumers and create a platform that we can cater to the people through our message. So everybody has an opinion. That's why social media is so addictive. Because it allows us to be ourselves and without getting instantly ridiculed. It allows us to feel safe to express our message. Now imagine the cure about this. Imagine having a clear-cut system that would allow us to be protected by expressing our message without fear of getting arrested, killed for having an opinion. No more deaths of kids that can come out due to the fear of being rejected. A lot less money will be spent in legal fees debating basic human rights. What would it look like if these solutions were implemented? People will remain accepted by the next man. And we can grow as a society because we'll be willingly and openly accepting each other without the fear of dying for a message. Our mortality would not even be tested. So let's review. Unless a message incites violence, it should be expressed and exhibited in a healthy way that the public is receptive of it, as well as becoming free of the fear of being hurt or arrested or killed. The message we express creates a sense of identity within ourselves and promotes our individuality and expresses a new outlook on things that we may not even know. So thank you for joining me and thank you for listening to my message. Thank you.